tu es là encore. Bienvenue, bienvenue. On est là pour le perspective académique. Et c'est là en France, on est à la Louvre, on a l'académie qui continue. Et on va emmener notre shotcaster académique en Joshi et Mad Magical. Bienvenue mes amis, viens. On va les emmener, Et les jolis faces, les beautiful people. Ah, c'est trop bien.
I'll never not love these intros.
I will never understand them.
C'est pas un intro.
I don't
not an
understand a
intro.
single word he says, but I love it every time.
Eh ben, ça va. J'ai un peu de l'art. I have a little bit of art for you.
Okay.
All right? We're going to go over it. Hold on.
Hold on. I'm ready.
What am I holding on to?
Three pictures. All right?
Okay.
There is a story. Okay?
My favorite part of these is always that, he pulls them out from the Louvre and we get to see the painting process like as it comes together. It's not something you normally get from most museums.
Artist on demand. It is fine. Okay, first picture.
Okay, what do we got? Let's see.
Okay.
A banana.
Banana.
A road.
Oh,
DK.
non. Pas du tout.
A
Pas du
hammer.
tout. Not at all, my friend.
Blitzcrank
pitchfork.
Coach. Blitzcrank Coach. Blitzcrank Coach.
Oh, magical. Oh,
Look, you can't you're not gonna
You
top
are
that.
too fast, my friend. You're too fast. You're too good.
I'm still convinced it's a letter E
Are you?
with like one of those
Oui.
accents on it.
Oui. Ah, c'est ça. C'est ça.
Do you
D'accord.
know-
Le
Show
prochain.
him. Magical
The
doesn't believe
next
me.
one. Okay, I have the next one for you. Oh, it's still yellow. Okay, we go back to black.
A banana.
Yes, a banana.
now
is that actually how you say
Okay.
banana,
Oh,
Fred?
no. Wait, l'artist,
Yumi.
give the artist some time. He just comes out of the Louvre.
Is it
It's hard,
Ratchet
okay?
From Ratchet and Clank.
No, c'est pas. It's not that, my
Nar.
friend. It's not that, my friend.
Timo with a banana.
Oh, banana.
No. C'est pas ça.
What?
Mon ami.
What is this?
Il y a deux. There are two of them.
There are two
Okay,
of them.
there are two of them.
Two Nars with two bananas.
No.
Is it?
I think
I
it's probably.
don't
it's
know
probably,
why they're standing up, but the artist. This is the artist
Is it
representation.
an otter?
No, I
No-
think it's
no.
Blitz and Crank.
Oh! Hey,
Oh!
Joshi,
Oh!
you are smart too, my friend. Oh! Okay.
Well done.
The next one. This one is hard. Okay.
Okay.
This
that's
is the
hard.
real masterpiece, if you will. Okay. Here we go.
Okay, I'm ready.
Give the artist some time. Give him some
Banana.
time. Okay.
Banana.
Okay.
A
Okay.
flat banana.
Okay. What is this?
Diamond.
Oh!
Wait, is it really?
Ah la vache! Oh, c'est trop bien!
Wait, is it really?
Bien fait, it is Diamond!
Oh!
He was playing Blitz and Crank.
Both of them.
Oh,
I'm actually surprised I got that one right away.
oh c'est trop bien! Oh, c'est... Mes amis! You are beautiful,
Oh,
okay?
you're beautiful.
You are beautiful. Thank you. Wait, I need to return the art.
Oh, okay.
So I'm going. Merci pour le perspective académique et au revoir mes amis. Au revoir.
Wait, he has to return the art, but he just painted the art.
Yes.
Would he be
Don't-
donating it to the museum if he just painted it?
Well, we can take it up. I have to imagine the French intellectual property rights aren't quite the same as what we have here. Maybe if you draw something in the Louvre, it belongs to the Louvre, right?
So if I go there and just draw a stick figure, I can be in the Louvre.
Well, naturally, by being in the Louvre, you will be in the Louvre. But, whether your art ends up being on display or not, I think is a different question.
What if I just drew it on a wall, a random wall?
Yes, then by definition, your art will be in the Louvre.
That's how we do it. Don't actually.
Well, we can't condone it, but I won't condemn it either.
I will. Don't do that. As someone that loves museums and like art displays, don't do that.
Okay,
don't,
well.
don't do that. But you know what? We can do. We can talk about the games that we had just witnessed.
We
FlyQuest,
did. Yeah.
impressive. Honestly, seeing their growth as a team, it's outstanding. Like we were talking about Diamond at the very beginning of the day, but now my attention keeps going over to UG and Spyrex, these two newer players to the academy scene. Both of them coming from collegiate. Both of them now looking like they're on the same page and working so well with one another.
And that was a huge issue for FlyQuest earlier in the season. It never felt like UG and Spyrex had necessarily figured out what they wanted to do next to each other. But this time, I mean, I think a big thing is UG feels much more calculated in the way that he's been playing. He's waiting to take a couple of seconds to make sure all their players are going to work, and it's paying off dividends.
Oh, and I do hear that we have our beautiful host all ready to join us here on the broadcast. So, Marcel, what were your thoughts on the game?
Hi.
I take it that
Hi.
you were watching it. We had a lovely
Yeah,
Frenchman that came in. You
intently.
missed him. But
Yeah, I don't know who keeps inviting that guy, but anyways, Diamond Blitzcrank. I don't know if that correlates at all with what we were talking about, but that was pretty nuts. In all actuality, though, it was very impressive, right? And being able to see this kind of performance back to back would be a step in the right direction, I feel like, going into the next game, and really looking at Team Liquid Academy on the other side. What is the response, right? Like, and trying to find exactly what the answer is quickly, at least in the halftime.
Mm-hmm. And I think when we start looking at these games, you kind of have to separate the results from the thought process behind them. You know, if people are making the right decisions, even if they don't always go their way, that's where we really can judge these players. And I feel like in this game, there were not a lot of major spots on the map where there was a lot of room for criticism of what it was that FlyQuest was doing. Sure, there might have been a couple of small places where they could have moved, a couple seconds faster, but the core ideas of pretty much everything they were doing on the map seemed really solid. And it wasn't just Diamond, it was seemingly every single member was trying to make the right plays at the right times.
Honestly, every player, you could find a moment where FlyQuest at any given moment in that entire game and have a highlight reel for that player. They all had a moment to shine on FlyQuest, whether it was Tomo solo diving the inhibitor turret to get a double kill and still living.
That was some Chad move.
Whether it's
I know it's not Chad.
Philip getting a 1v3 kill, and then also his TP play in the bot lane, the hooks out of Diamond, Spyrex with his flanks, Yuji with that kick that set up Tomo. There's so many different plays that came in from FlyQuest that I could just I could rave about it for hours.
And that's where I look at, that the relationship building within the team, I guess, and you see some of the relationship being developed for FlyQuest and wondering, is that playing into it? Is the synergy just really coming alive for this team? Because it seems night and day, right? Like, we saw an inkling of it when they had that 2-0 day, and they were like, oh my God, they can win, right? Like, we found that in them. And now it's like, they could keep winning. Like, how far is this going to go? I know I've got a little bit of a high feel around it, but it's impressive against Team Liquid, who we have set up as this piece to the puzzle for Academy.
Yeah, I feel like, what we're seeing this year is fairly typical of most years, right? You have one or two teams that are kind of separating themselves on the top. You have one or two teams that are struggling, and then you have the mess, right? And Team Liquid is thoroughly part of that mess. At the beginning of the day, there were 7 teams that were either 8-6 or 7-7. Team Liquid was one of them, and FlyQuest was couple of games behind, but now as they find another win, they are only 1 game behind Team Liquid, and they're trying to find their self into that solid middle of the pack as well, and that's not something I was expecting from FlyQuest. And Mazel, I'll go ahead and let you gloat a little bit as one of the few people who were actually expecting anything from this roster at the beginning.
That. All right,
You're above that?
that.
Okay.
I'm above that. We're
You'll let other people do the bragging for you. Okay, I see.
Yeah. Exactly.
I'm not above gloating. I was completely right about my prediction on when the fight would break out, wasn't I, Josh?
I don't understand how you did
I
it.
like how you just bring that up out of nowhere. He's like, you just really
I legitimately have
Joshi's
no
face.
idea, because there was such a weird
not bad.
dive coming out from Team Liquid, and Magical was just like, yeah, that's how the game's gonna go.
This is it. So I guess the big question is, I want to check back in on your guys' temperatures of these supports, right? We've gotten to see the one game of this spotlight between Diamond and Rhino. So Joshi, what do you come away with from that first game, and how can Rhino really establish something for game 2.
Well, I actually feel like Rhino was one of the stronger performers in this game coming out for Team Liquid, where even though they ended up losing, right, a lot of the decisions he was making seemed pretty darn solid. And the big thing was that Team Liquid as a whole were nowhere near as coordinated as FlyQuest in this game. And so Rhino, even though he's one of the newer players, he hasn't been playing with the Team Liquid roster as long, he doesn't have as long of a career as all the other players. I want him to step up a little bit. When you're feeling good, when you're having a good game, you just need to tell everybody, it's like, hey, I know normally somebody else is a shot caller, but I'm the one who's doing well. Play around me, and I'm going to make us look good.
Magical, is it just pick Blitzcrank again for Diamond? Is that
yeah.
All right, cool.
I mean,
that's it. That's all we got.
Again, I have 2 reasons for this. One, I want it. So that should have already right there be
That's the most important reason.
But that's all I need. We're gonna go ahead and send it on to just
But 2, he looked good on it. That's the other point.
Yeah. Well, I want to be in Japan right now, Magical, but I'm still here in Seattle. Can't always get what we want. Is there anything else that Diamond can do?
Self-loathing aside, fellas, we're gonna go ahead and send you on your way to draft number 2 of the day. Go and have some fun with it.
Thank you. Bye, Mazel. Bye, Lennon. It's always good having you around. I'm excited for the second game. FlyQuest, that's 3 games in a row. Last week, they had a bit of a rocky week. They were able to take a 1-1 against Golden Guardians in day 2, but that first day, they lost 0-2 to CLG. Here, being able to take this first game off of Team Liquid is a big step, but being able to take both the games off would definitely tell everyone in Academy FlyQuest is part of the blob in the middle. They are not a team that you could just say is going to be bottom of the pack.
The blob. Okay. Well, we'll see if that nickname ends up sticking for them, as we do have Champion Select starting once again. Team Liquid still on the red side. FlyQuest still on the blue, and the bans unlikely to change a whole lot. FlyQuest have to feel pretty comfortable about what they've been going for, but one of the things that I've been a little bit surprised about is the Team Liquid Volleybear experiment. I believe this is their at least second, but possibly third game over the past couple of days where they've been going with the Volleybear jungle, and Armeo hasn't necessarily had a whole lot of impact on this champion just quite yet. So I wonder if that's something they're going to be sticking to, or if they're going to be mixing it up, because so far we're running it back.
At the moment, we are running it back. I'm not too surprised, though, from Team Liquid. I feel like the FLYA Thresh were the strong parts of their team. You had talked about it. Rhino looked really good on the Thresh's engages as well. Just happened to be that the other parts of the map were kind of falling apart, plus this Gwen. I honestly was expecting to see maybe a change up there from the bans from Team Liquid. Not allow Philip to play this Gwen once more with how good he looked on it. But that is going to be the change they actually want. Viego for Armeo as opposed for the Volleybear.
I like this wrinkle in the opening, right? It's not just going back and playing the same 17 moves of theory. Instead, we're going to get a change in the first half, meaning that the bans in the second half also likely to change this time around, right? The Rise ban up against Spyrex. Oh, and he did become the second player to get the 3rd win on Rise this time around. So improving the Rise win rate across the board. Big shout out to Spyrex for actually figuring that out. But it also allows Team Liquid to kind of challenge FlyQuest in the much more chaotic team fights that we were seeing in the first game.
And here into the second part of the bans, Brandamir still banned. To me, that indicates the want and desire for that Victor that Spyrex has been going back to whenever he can. Looks really comfortable with that pick, but I would also expect Team Liquid to ban that away. They banned Silas, they banned Victor last time, but I expect this to be that they go for that Victor ban. The only other thing is, I talked about this before, the Silas that had been banned indicated Team Liquid wanted the Ahri. It's considered not exactly a counter, but one of those skill matchups that does pretty well since you can steal the new Spirit Rush away from her. But I would expect Spyrex to just grab that if left open.
There's still lots of options, right? We did see Harry with the Ahri last time around. I'm curious whether or not teams are going to continue trying to push this, because even though it's performing well in solo queue, it's not necessarily a champion that has yet transitioned into a lot of wins in the competitive part of the game. And I would be surprised if this Yone gets locked in, but it is still lots of options available to both teams. They have a very solid core on both sides, and the one thing that we're going to have to figure out is how is Bradley going to try to actually challenge Philip this time around. The Jace looked okay.
Jace was all right, but here on the second parts, I'm expecting the mid lane pick for Harry, waiting it out. Instead, Bradley onto Gangplank. He did a great job. He had some highlight plays last week when he played this champion. Even in some of their losses, he looked fantastic with his barrel chains.
And it's definitely something that he's putting a lot of pressure on himself by choosing this champion. He's also putting a lot of pressure onto Tomo and any marksmen or long-range mages that don't have a lot of mobility. Just being able to throw down the cannon barrage creates a lot of pressure on any kind of back line. But FlyQuest, sticking to their guns, going to be picking up the Lee Sin, but they're not allowed to grab the Rise this time around. So there is going to be at least one champion changing coming through for the side of FlyQuest. And
Did grab Ari, I wonder?
I don't hate it. I think it's pretty decent, but it also really heavily commits you to these more chaotic style of team fights that they had a lot of success in, and so does the LeBlanc. We already know that FlyQuest have a very potent 1-3-1 coming up later on in the game where they can find some large advantages by putting Philip and Spyrax in the side lanes in order to create pressure, whereas Team Liquid, Gangplank will eventually be able to match one of them, but it's still super volatile going up against either the Gwen or the LeBlanc. If anybody makes a misstep, that can very quickly turn into a death.
Oftentimes, though, we see this LeBlanc picked, and it is Vex on the other side. Avery, not going for that. It is the Azir pick up this. I look at this composition for Team Liquid, and it screams late game scaling.
Yeah. I'm a little bit worried about that, right? Because there's such a powerful mid game coming out from the side of FlyQuest that I don't know if Team Liquid are going to be able to do that. But if they end up getting to 3-4 items, they are going to be in a fantastic position because not only do they have crazy damage scaling, they also have good range to play with, right? Azir is going to be poking Jhin out from long range. So is the Gangplank, and the only person who can really get in is the LeBlanc. And yes, LeBlanc can kill any individual member on Team Liquid, but it's not always necessarily going to be easy to get in on top of them. So I'm expecting a really brawly game this time around from both sides of the map, and Team Liquid has to be really careful about when they're actually going to choose their fights.
Almost coin flip, you could say, between the two teams. But FlyQuest are the ones who I expect to initiate a lot of that. They are, as you said, the mid-game team. The team that wants to have skirmishes, that wants to battle early on. While the other side, Team Liquid, they could try to counteract a lot of that fighting, or they have the ability to kind of absorb the pressure, not really look for anything, and then push back after everything had been expended from FlyQuest.
We'll see, right? It is going to be Team Liquid. They are starting off Super Week 0 and 3, the exact opposite of what FlyQuest have been seeing so far this week. And Team Liquid, this is not a team that we were expecting that from. They were having a strong series coming into this week, and this is a bit of a slump coming out for the Team Liquid roster. They really need to find an opportunity to turn it around, but FlyQuest don't want to let them do that. FlyQuest, as you said, they want to get into the blob.
That they
God,
do.
I hate saying that.
The blob is a... why do you hate saying the blob? The blob is the blob, my man.
It's not a pleasant word.
You just don't say blob enough in your life, I see. But you know what? I am ready. I am ready for our second game of this series. It is Super Week. FlyQuest 3-0 to start it all off, and they are doing what I love. All grouped together.
Oh.
Bradley spotted it out, though.
Yeah, Bradley only saw one person, but because it was the Jhin, he's like, oh, yeah, Jin's not alone up here, going to be backing away and not dropping a ward either because he knows it would just get cleared out. Instead, going to be backing all the way up to make sure he's not under threat. But Team Liquid, it's a give and take, right? Every single time you go this far into the enemy jungle with this many members, the other team is completely uncontested. A couple of wards going down. And the ward that I really like is not the ward on the red buff that Team Liquid have placed, but the ward outside the Dragon Pit.
Oh.
We've seen some really inventive pathing coming out from Lee Sin's early on, where you use this opportunity to jump over the wall in order to join other people in ways that Team Liquid wouldn't be expecting, and this denies all of that by Team Liquid.
I will say, I'm a little disappointed in Diamond that he didn't flash and look for the hook immediately once they saw Bradley. If it was me, that's what I would have done.
Wait, what would you have done? I was not paying attention.
Flash hook.
Oh.
You see Bradley, flash hook. Just automatically. It's built into my blood as a Blitzcrank player.
Yeah. It's like, you know, being a Pokemon trainer, right? You lock eyes and you just have to fight.
Exactly. Same thing. Right now, in a little bit of skirmishing, Spyrax and Harry. Each time these two face off in the mid lane last game, there's a battle back and forth, the corrupting pots being expended, trying to gain the upper hand on one another.
Yeah, Spyrax already creating a lot of pressure, but we are also noticing that at least between these two teams, we haven't been getting as much pressure coming out early on in the game from people going for leashes. And Bradley just going in for a little bit of trading. Yeah,
Ebb and flow.
it's just one of those matchups where you can actually be really aggressive at level 1 as the Gangplank, and Philip just going in with a snip again, hitting Bradley in the butt. His best feature.
Yeah, just pretty much they back and forth. One would go in, get a couple of trades off, and then try to back off. And while they retreat, the other tries to fight back. It was kind of funny to watch it a little bit up there.
Yeah.
But with the corrupting pots for Gangplank, that's really why Philip is trying to fight early. He wants to get rid of as much of that healing out of this Gangplank as possible so they can either force him out of the lane or get a cheetah recall like he did last time.
Yeah, and it looks like he's going to be accomplishing just that, right? You have the cannon minion going underneath the turret, and it takes a long time for cannons to get killed by the turret. Yeah, like the attempt. But the big thing that I do want to pay attention to is going back to that wiggle that we were seeing, right? Like, am I going forward? Am I chasing you? Like how that top lane is going. Super, super important skill, not just for the top lane, though it is most obvious in that lane where you have to be willing to threaten that you are going to turn around. Otherwise, your opponent will end up getting a lot of free damage. So Rhino gets a hook onto a minion, not necessarily going to be seeing a whole lot of action to start things off in the bottom side of the map.
By the way, notice that Diamond is playing a different Blitzcrank skin this game.
Oh, he is? I
Pretty
didn't.
sure he's played a different Blitzcrank skin in every one of the games he's played. This is his 4th one in the Academy split. Undefeated on the champion at the moment. We'll see how that record ends up being after this game. This is one of those champions that allows him a lot of agency, especially with exerting control in the lane phase, which is something we've seen oftentimes out of Tomo and Diamond. He steps forward, gets the rocket punch, waiting for the grab as well onto Rhino, getting the flash, but here's Armeo right behind them, waiting for the slow with the gravitum on to Diamond, but instead it's going to be onto Tomo, waiting for the stun. It's onto UG. Armeo getting a little bit of damage, but so many low health bars on each side. Look at Yon, look at Rhino, look at Tomo right now. He's still healthy, but he's taking a lot of damage as he tries to kite back.
Yon just not in range in order to get any more gravitum slows. And so Diamond now with his hook back up, looking to threaten.
There's it, Armeo. He dodges it just barely. The Spectral Maw was able to give him that distance away. Neither side really gaining much, but a lot of summoners on the side of Team Liquid expended.
Flash down on Rhino. That's an opportunity to attack for FlyQuest coming up, and both junglers going to back away. They want to make sure they don't fall too far behind in farm. At the same time, top lane, we get to see a very similar situation from both sides, but instead of getting the crash coming out from Bradley, he chooses to expend the teleport in order to refresh those corrupting potions and buy himself a Doran's Blade so he doesn't fall behind early on, just on account of the kind of items that they have in Philip. Doing a good job breaking all these barrels in order to make sure that Bradley doesn't get a ton of free damage.
That level 6 is going to be the power spike for Philip. Once he has that, it's going to be difficult for Bradley, especially without many of the corrupting pots still left in his inventory to fight back. You think he's got his last one, but here's Yuji. Max range Q is able to get the flash, jumped in with the ward, didn't go any further.
Goes for flash. Good trade coming out from FlyQuest, making sure that Bradley remaining on the back foot. And we saw that Philip on this Gwen had a pretty darn good game last game. He had a lot of opportunities to go for these 1v1s. And apart from like one mishap where he tried to chase Harry too far, this is a situation where there's not the same kind of outplay potential for a lot of members of Team Liquid. But Armeo is already here early.
But it is a level 6 on Philip. Dodges away from the stun. Doesn't even have to... Oh, no, he did already use the ghost. Never mind. I thought he had held on to it, but had used it way back in the previous fight.
But it's true. It means that you didn't have to use the ghost now. But FlyQuest bringing Diamond in. Rhino's already here.
Looking for the hook. Who's it going to land onto? Wasn't able to get the chains for Spyrex with Harry. He went in
Good
for the
flash.
Dreamer Shuffle, but he missed. It's a nice lantern away, but the
Nice.
hook onto Harry with UG here as well. Rhino, he's taken so low.
Spyrex.
The Ignite ticking down. Spyrex goes for the auto. Dies to first blood out of Rhino, but it's traded back. The turret getting a lot of damage onto Diamond as well, but UG will make sure that his support can survive.
Nobody else able to come in to interact with that, but Spyrex, uncharacteristic death as Rhino using the Ignite in order to pick up the last bit of damage necessary to take down the mid lane. It ends up being a 1-for-1 trade in a 2v3, but FlyQuest not done. They're coming down because they want to get Yon next.
1v1 fight between Tomo and Yon
He's got chakrams.
interrupted. Here is Yuji and Diamond behind. A little bit of damage back and forth, but Yon is all dead. It is Yuji getting the kill credit. Whoa, we change our attention. Man, fighting across the rift, but this is that level 6 for Phil.
Snip, snip.
Bradley heals up a lot, but snip damages too much, and it's a 1v1 kill for Philip.
Philip just able to take down Bradley in the solo kill war. So much experience. That's the disaster coming in for Bradley as Philip now in firm control of this lane for the foreseeable future. Does already have the blasting wand, and that's why you do so much damage. But Rhino, as we continue to move across the map, because FlyQuest spent an extra turn, right? Team Liquid is a turn-based game. They spent so much extra time. Tomo's caught.
He should have committed. The flash was nice, though, so he will end up getting out with his life.
Yeah, good play coming out from Tomo in order not to give that up. The thing I want to talk about, though, is the turn-based nature of League of Legends. Once you go for a play, you typically can't go for another one unless you get a lot of kills. And FlyQuest spent so much extra time that when Tomo tried to push things back underneath the enemy turret, he put himself at risk for the enemy turn. And Team Liquid, they tried to take it, but Tomo, just too good, ends up having to expend the flash in order to make sure that he doesn't give over too much off of that tempo.
It's funny, you say turn-based gameplay, you know, that's how League of Legends works. But this is where I have to applaud Yuji. This is the second game in a row we've seen here just today. Yesterday, he did the same thing, where he goes, ganks one lane, and immediately books it for the other lane. Doesn't even wait for his opponent to get a turn. He is trying constantly to make these plays happen for his team.
I think that's part of why it's working so well. It's because a lot of people aren't expecting the, people cheating on turns. It's like, hey, it's not your turn. It's supposed to be my turn to go for a play. And Yuji's like, yeah, and what are you going to do about it? You're going to go kill the rest of your map. And he's able to do that once again. Now he's topside in this game, looking for an opportunity to, one, cut off Armeo if he comes, but also to potentially die Bradley when Philip's ultimate is up.
They're not even waiting for that. They're waiting for the ghost. That's the big thing, because afterwards you can chase in with needlework. Bradley doing his best to clear out the minion waves. He's got it frozen, but he doesn't realize. Lee Sin's right there with the ward hop, the kick too, and they can follow that up with the needlework. Easy kill for Philip.
There you go. Yeah, just waiting for all these tools. The ghost was used, the needlework was used. Yuji gets the Dragon's Rage off, but now because Team Liquid aren't in a position to take their own turn, there's nothing for them to do.
Nice flash from Harry. Had to flash away because the chains had connected.
Exactly. And so Yuji now is rewarded because his previous efforts paid off. Oh, the hook lands too!
Into the root, into the ult, but he was able to click the lantern. Ignite ticking. One more yawn barely survives, but here's the curtain call. Rhino, you got a body block, bruh. You got to make sure, but if you take too many of these, it's going to hurt you too. Punch into the air with the crit kill for Tomo.
Great patience from FlyQuest. That's what I love to see, is people not just using their abilities immediately, but waiting for them to have their maximum impact. And they get to take some turns on the top side. They also get some on the bottom side. FlyQuest just being better than Team Liquid right now across the entire map. And it doesn't give a whole lot of opportunities for Team Liquid to do anything. We said they were the scaling team, but if they keep falling behind at this rate, they're not going to get to their scaling.
No, because FlyQuest are playing their composition how we wanted. They aren't even coin flipping these. They are proactive. They have the setup they need to. They're winning these duels in the lanes, in the ganks. It's just looking so incredible out of FlyQuest.
They're only making high probability plays, and now FlyQuest back on the map. Team Liquid a little bit slow to take their turn, so FlyQuest can have an opportunity to contest this.
As they are right there in the wings, not going to be able to get into the pit, but here's the damage. Spyrox taking a lot of that from Harry on the other side. Diamond's in the pit. He will be the sacrifice for the team trying to contest that dragon.
Yeah, Bradley with the cannon barrage, able to turn things around a little bit, and now Armeo with the hook. Is he going to have an opportunity to use it? No, Spyrox is going to be backing away, realizing he's on a control ward. But Team Liquid, whoa.
Nice unpersified. Just a little bit of damage, though. Keeping that turret, the ward alive. Wait a minute, Spyrox, did you really want to go for that, bro? I don't think you did. That's a lot of damage, and you can tell that Armeo is hunting. He has that ult available with the flash as well. Flash going over the wall. Spyrox, it's a difficult task to actually stay on top of a LeBlanc.
Yeah, okay, well, it is just going to be a bit of a weird situation coming in from the mid laners, and Rhino looking to punish Tomo.
Tomo does not have flash, but he has cleanse. Would have been difficult still to keep on top of Tomo. That's, I think, why they back off. They also weren't aware of where Yuji was on the map, and having now just spotted him, they probably were kicking themselves saying, we could have made that play happen.
Could have tried. Double teleports being used from FlyQuest at the same time. So I kind of want to go back to what we were talking about at the beginning of the day while we wait for the next objective to spawn magical. Okay. How are Diamond and Rhino actually performing? And this is a game where I feel like Diamond is once again stepping up and Rhino doing okay.
Look at those pulls on the right targets. Always saying, hey, Rhino, you're the safety tool for Yon. If I just take you out of the equation, There's no lantern
Oh,
to keep
God.
you alive. There's no lantern to help you. Even with that lantern taking Yon away, it is just so they can put down Shelly into the spot lane and force out Team Liquid.
Crazy damage coming through. FlyQuest, I mean, we were just saying, we were checking in with Diamond and saying, like, yeah, he is stepping up and immediately lands another hook onto Rhino. And this turret going down, it's going to make Tomo and Diamond really rich as they push yet another wave in. Team Liquid really on the back foot, and it's unclear where their tools are going to be over the next couple of minutes, because this is when FlyQuest really steps into their own. Now that they have their first item on a lot of members, and Philip, he's just diving?
He's looking for a 1v1 fight, dive onto Bradley. That was incredible, the amount of damage he's able to get. The only reason it didn't work out was the flash from Bradley.
Crazy. That means the next time Philip goes for it, it should end up working. Team Liquid absolutely reeling. So they have to give up the next 2 dragons for sure, Magical.
Why is
They
that?
can't contest those. Well, they're just not strong enough, right? It'd be like you and me arm wrestling up against Steve.
Hey, I arm wrestled Steve once.
Yeah? Did you win? That's what I thought.
He said that I was stronger than he thought.
Oh,
Yeah,
okay.
so
well,
I got
that's
that going for me, which
that's
is
a
nice.
moral victory.
Yeah, exactly. See, so, you know, it's something.
Yeah, that's kind of what we'd be looking at from Team Liquid as well. It'd be only a moral victory because Diamond tried to cut off any real
I
opportunities.
like this. He just goes for the easy rocket punch, kick into the wall onto poor Bradley. With no flash, it was an easy kill for Yuji.
There you go. This is what I like. FlyQuest only making high percentage plays. They're not going for anything that's super risky because they know if they just take a couple of extra seconds to get it set up, there's nothing that Team Liquid can really do. And UG, this might be the lowest percentage they have.
This is an interesting invade right there. Diamond has to give up his life again, just so they can. I'm kind of trying to figure out what they can get.
Not much, but it's a moral victory. They able to take down Diamond, and FlyQuest, now that they push this in, they're getting a lot of pressure on the top side. Expect them to rotate down to the bottom side, and Yuji just getting a little bit of damage onto Armeo. I feel like Yuji's been really stepping up. Even though he's not making flashy plays, he's making really smart decisions.
Well, see, this is where we have to kind of rewind it completely to the beginning of the split for FlyQuest. One of the main strengths everyone talked about with this team was how they were able to play as a team, but, man, Yon right there saying, okay, who cares about a team? I could just solo kill Tomo. Diamond flashing in too, and retribution!
All right, that was pretty funny coming through. But yeah, Yon with a really big play there. You said going back to the beginning of the split, Yon was one of these members that we always knew was going to be pretty decent. Having played for 100 Thieves Next for a while, we knew he was going to be one of these strong members. And now, FlyQuest, I'm surprised that they're not rotating down. Instead, just trying to continue to punish Bradley, who is now 0, 3, and 0. Absolutely no kill participation.
I wanna tell my point, my story
Do it.
about FlyQuest, damn it.
Stories.
No fighting, no 1v1 duels, guys.
But
Okay.
the dragon.
No, I'll be quick about it. So, at the beginning of the season, we looked at how FlyQuest played. Their laning phase was always good. They looked like, except for right there where Tomo got solo killed by Yon. Normally, they're the team that were able to get these solo kills that looked aggressive early on. It was great. The problem was their team fighting, how they worked together. That is the strength that FlyQuest have been having as of late, how they're able to utilize the strength from lane into these early team fights and actually come together as one.
Yeah.
There we go, I
Well,
got it.
Got it in. And now, the fight. Team Liquid should not be expecting to win this, especially with FlyQuest with an extra member here already.
Diamond wants to
Rhino.
rocket punch. Poor Rhino with no flash. He just brings him back in. And this looks familiar with Philip on a killing spree at the Dragon 2, 16 minutes in.
Yeah, Bradley also going to be picking up this turret. Just ebb and flow, constantly moving back and forth.
Yeah, well, those Spyrex. Nice ward placed down to spot out Yon and Harry. Route 2 with the Emperor's Divide. But now Curtain Call's open. Even if you got the kill onto Spyrex, you got to body block Yon this entire time. Could have been risky, but no one's there to punish. Instead, it's just the one kill onto LeBlanc.
Interesting play coming through, but it is going to mean that Philip has a lot of time on the opposite side of the map. Going to be picking up the second tier turret, but again, ebb and flow opportunities. Rhino bluffing that somebody's with him, but they see everyone.
Diamond called the bluff. As you said, they knew where everyone was. They weren't going to fall for that.
I love the fact that Rhino just goes for it. It's the sign of a Thresh player thinking on their feet, but it's just like this works in solo queue. This does not work in competitive fives when you've seen everybody too recently. FlyQuest, you're just like, even if somebody's there, we can probably kill him. And now Philip getting the slow, there's no flash.
Bradley. He has been bullied this
One more.
game. He
Kill.
could have gotten one more, but he will survive this time around. But he is forced out. While FlyQuest take the tier 1 mid, even if the play was made onto Bradley in the bot lane, they now have to escape from that fight coming in from Armeo. The pull back in with the root as well. And here's Yuji. Perfect time to pick up a kill for Diamond, but Yon getting a lot of damage back onto Diamond with the flank coming in from Bradley and Harry. They both TP'd behind. They've got the bot lane of FlyQuest into the grave with Yuji. Now having to run for the hills. Even if Philip is nearby, he can't fight back.
Yeah, FlyQuest just getting caught out with their pants down in the middle of that fight. They thought they were the ones in charge of everything, but Team Liquid going with the long rotation ends up finding an opportunity. And even now, Rhino continuing to pressure where Yuji is playing. So the fact that there's only 1,000 gold lead down for Team Liquid that they're manufacturing during FlyQuest PowerPoint is incredible. Tomo, he does a good job at surviving this, and Diamond creates a lot of space for him. The problem is, what happens when you have two members coming in? The double teleport actually coming in from Harry and Bradley, making sure that they can pick up 2 extra kills during that entire sequence.
Now both those TPs on cooldown. FlyQuest have that advantage they can utilize, especially with the Baron being... Well, no, Baron's not up. What am I saying? God, it feels like it's so much later into the game. It's only 18.5 minutes.
That must feel good for Team Liquid, right? They're the ones who want to take this game a lot later, but FlyQuest... Now they're going to be the ones who are going to be starting up this Rift Herald, and it should be pretty easy for them to secure it. It doesn't look like Team Liquid are in a position with no teleports. Everybody is too far away. But I also want to track how Philip is going to be doing on the side lane. 1, because I'm a simp. 2, because he's 3-0-0 on this Gwen, looking for opportunities to create a lot of pressure. They were barely not able to get the kill onto Bradley just a couple minutes ago. But now Philip... He's got most of the makings of the upcoming Cosmic Drive, and once he has that, it's very difficult for Bradley to leave.
This is why I talked about before how it looks familiar for Philip on this Gwen. Like what we saw in the last game. He got that 3-0-1 lead pretty early on. 3-0-0. Really early lead, and he is looking strong. Right now, Harry getting kicked into the wall by Harry. Looking for that play. He's got a lot of damage back on with the turret and the help of the cannon brush, but unfortunately, because, wait a minute, where did Yon and Rhino come from? They are KO out of nowhere, and with the shutdown on the Yuji too, Harry's been doing a lot to kite this one back. He dies to Diamond, but Armeo is nearby. Distortion back, but now he's locked into the alcove. With Philip there, could be risky to actually fight this one, but keep in mind that entire time, Tomo wasn't a part of this fight. Finally, with the curtain call, looking for the poke onto these members. Armeo wants to be able to join in as well, but with Philip and Diamond being as huge as they are, the pull comes back in onto Heartbreaker's away. Heal work is out as well, but they're all grouped together. All you have to do is line them up to be able to get a lot of damage onto Yon into the back line. Even with the kill coming in from Armeo, he does not be able to do anything else. They got the kick into the wall. They've got the damage onto Armeo. The root connects, and the flash in from Diamond. He heals back up. Bradley, too, with a shutdown of his own. Tomo's trying to stand to kill Armeo, but they could not slay the beast.
FlyQuest absolutely crumbles to Team Liquid in this last fight. Team Liquid creating so much pressure. They think they might want to start this up, but no. Divine Sunder enough to keep Armeo alive during that entire sequence with so little HP. And FlyQuest, they end up in this position where I was saying they really want to take these chaotic fights. They're taking fights, and they're chaotic, but they're not separated into all their constituent parts. It's just a different kind of front to back, because FlyQuest constantly are chasing Team Liquid through these choke points. Now that the Baron is in Team Liquid's hands, they are firmly in control for the first time. They've gotten to 2 items on most of their members in relative parity. And Yon, absolutely huge on this Ophelio. 6-2-2. He got a solo kill onto Tomo earlier. I'm expecting big things from this guy for the rest of the game.
We've been talking about ebb and flow in this game a lot, but we're really seeing the tides shift towards Team Liquid after that fight. They already were looking pretty strong, getting some of these items crucially needed into their inventories, but now they're getting to 2 items on most of their carries. The only one they're really missing that second item on is Armeo at this point. But once they get the 3rd item, this Baron should be able to buffer them enough to that point.
Yeah. So the thing I want to highlight for FlyQuest that is going well is once they've committed to a play, they are committed. Now, the next step that once you've got that first step where it's like, yeah, once we go for a play, we go for it. The other part you need to do is say, oh, this play doesn't work anymore, and be able to peel off of it. FlyQuest haven't yet shown that, but it's still a huge improvement from what we saw earlier on. Still, remember, 3-0 so far in the Super Week. If they can find this last win, if they can turn this one around, it'll put them in a great position to play with the rest of the block.
At the moment, FlyQuest getting harassed underneath their tier 2 in this mid lane. Team Liquid utilizing some split push pressure coming in from Harry. They have Bradley as well. They can send into the side lane. They're holding off at the moment, trying to keep everyone grouped together, really keep FlyQuest pinned into their base and not allow them to explore any further.
Okay, Gwen is immune. Philip
Yes.
looking for an opportunity to walk in, but notice the fact that Team Liquid are pressuring in multiple places. Diamond.
Oh, good flash from Yawn. That could have been pretty devastating had he gotten picked off right there, especially underneath the turret when they have such an advantage. But here, Harry, Armeo fighting against Philip and Spyrex. Will be just a trade of blows back and forth. Philip took a lot more worse for wear.
Yeah. This is what we were talking about earlier, right? Philip and Spyrex, very effective in his side lane. And notice that there's still... Okay. Team Liquid have realized that they're going to be able to stop it. But this Rift Herald have been pushing the entire time in the bottom side of the map. But... Oh my gosh, is he too slow?
Oh no.
That is hilarious.
Oh no. Come on, come on.
Harry?
You got this. You got
Harry?
this. Oh no. He's too slow.
He's too slow.
Wah,
Sad.
wah, wah.
Sad.
Tragic.
Little bit of a turtle going on right there for Harry, but yeah, okay. So let's go back. We said at the beginning, FlyQuest had a great 1-3-1, right? You have Philip and Spyrex who can be in the side lanes, but they're not necessarily able to find a whole lot of pressure in this game. They're not going for anything with a diamond.
Was that a YOLO hook onto Armeo? I don't even think he knew he was there because
Well, that
they were able to
vision.
clear. No, they had a control ward. They had already neutralized that before. That was just pretty much him guessing, and now they have this fight. They've got the damage
Okay.
coming in onto Rhino, but they got to be careful. Philip needs to be able to heal up. It's going to be Diamond not getting the kill. Sorry, it's going to be Bradley getting the kill in that.
You sound so unexcited, just as, oh, it's just Bradley getting the kill. He's
Yeah.
still in the Gangplank.
Yeah.
He's now 4 kills on this
Yeah.
Gangplank. Started the game 0-3 and hasn't died since. But
But
Spyrex,
I want Diamond to get the kills.
but Diamond was the one that died.
Kinda.
No,
No, you.
Philip was the one that died.
Philip
Okay.
was the one who died. That's why
Okay,
I want Blitzcrank to get kills. Come on.
I want the team with Blitzcrank to win. She's
Look,
so cute.
You're a simp
and
for
funny.
Philip. You're a simp for Philip. I'm a simp for Blitzcrank. It's simple.
Well, it's just like the copy pasta. I want the team with Zoe to win.
No, because Blitzcrank is actually cool.
Ooh. Shots
Yeah.
fired. There's
Yeah.
somebody in chat who will probably be like, oh my god, I can't believe Magical is such a purist. Diamond, I don't even know if he
Oh.
wants this.
He does not want this. Now he's slow. It takes a lot of damage. Rhino could look for the re-engage. Both hooks went wide for both supports, so neither of them going to commit.
Okay. Well, the 3 coming out from FlyQuest, the big issue that they're going to have if they want to continue playing this style is they don't have a lot of wave clear, right? And crucially, Spyrex is not very strong, right? This is a situation where once Spyrex starts falling behind, he doesn't really come back into the game for quite a while. At this point, he's looking for at least another entire item before he's really a relevant threat to a lot of members of Team Liquid. And as soon as I say that, Bradley,
Though, was able to get a good amount of damage back on to Spyrex. That is one of the things with playing a Gangplank. You eat some oranges, it's always okay.
okay. And you have infinite mana at this point. Like, once you have the Essence Reaver, you just spam Qs and you're good, right? So it's not going to be an easy opportunity for Spyrex to close anything out. But at the same time, on the rest of the map, we are noting that Armeo has completed his Death Dance, making him very difficult to burst out. And with 40 seconds left before the next dragon, Team Liquid are the ones who are on the map first, but they're losing a lot of the pressure. They're going to be giving up some of their wards and control over the choke point, instead choosing to cheat towards the top side, which implies to me they don't care about this Cloud Dragon. They want to play for the Baron.
They want to play for the Baron. They want to play for the scaling and try to get in it to the late game where they're already starting to find success. They're up 4,500 gold, just shy of that, over FlyQuest, where FlyQuest, for the good majority of the first 20 minutes of this game, were the ones in control. It was that one fight at the 20-minute mark that gave everything over to Team Liquid. We even saw how fast they can take these Barons. If FlyQuest aren't perfect on making sure they control Team Liquid, we're going to see that Baron spawn and immediately die.
You're already seeing the assist me pings coming out towards the Baron. FlyQuest, without any vision on the top half of the map, aren't really able to do anything other than just kind of guess when it is that Team Liquid are going for it. And so, Right now we see Philip, because nobody was anywhere else, they have to be here.
Now he's in a fight, 1v2. It's a lot of speed there with the Cosmic Drive and Ghost combo. But with the pull attempted there from Diamond in mid lane as well, there's these plays from both teams, denying a little bit of the control around these objectives. But the fact that they can just do something like that to Spyrex, Yon is going to be able to step up to this Baron without any worries that FlyQuest might be able to contest.
Ooh, Spyrex missing a lot of these wards walking through. Teleport comes through from Gangplank. This is Team Liquid committing to this play.
Look at Phil. He is TPing as well. And look at how fast that Baron is burning. You got to get in the pin at some point. It's already secured. And now Rhino with the FLYA onto one. Curtain call has been opened up wide. But how much damage does it realistically do to Team Liquid? Even Spyrex goes in, getting a little bit of damage onto Bradley. The root doesn't connect onto anybody. Team Liquid looking like they're going to be able to get this Baron completely for free.
FlyQuest not really able to do anything. They don't want to take these front-to-back fights anymore. They are just too short range going up against the members of Team Liquid. And pretty synchronized back timers coming in from their opponents as well. FlyQuest really in a rough spot. And the thing that we have to remember is now that we are this late into the game, the win conditions for FlyQuest are no longer team fighting, right?
Nope.
And the way that RGS puts it, scaling doesn't matter, but you might get outscaled in one aspect of the game, and team fighting definitely not going to be going in FlyQuest way whatsoever.
Ooh.
Oh my gosh, Harry barely missing out on Tomo. So FlyQuest need to find alternative win conditions. They need to find picks, but Team Liquid are such a death ball at this point that I don't see them splitting up, which puts all the pressure onto Diamond to step up once again as the oldest member of this team in order to create pressure for his roster in order to lock down people so they can fight a 5v4.
The veteran of the team, the leader, has to make these plays. That is what they're relying on. If he can pull Yon especially, that can set them up for success. Maybe even Bradley too, but with Bradley having that Prowler's Claw, it's going to be difficult. Not exactly the easiest target, but Harry getting himself an Emperor's Divide. He dies immediately. Here's Yon into the pit. He's kicked away with the flash too, but the kick comes in onto Armeo with UG dying to Yon. He's on a rampage too. Diamond's pretty low. They've got the follow-up coming in from Armeo as he's stolen away the soul. Heartbreaker didn't connect. They got no root from FlyQuest connecting. They have to now completely bail out of this fight. All the while, Bradley has been pushing in the bot lane. So that was a 4v5 fight that Team Liquid won.
Team Liquid is just able to use the cannon barrage in order to create a lot of space. I mean, it was a really awkward looking fight for the sides of Team Liquid, but they end up coming out ahead because Yon is so strong in this game, and now they're going to be sieging up another turret. They have double cannons. And
on to Armeo, he flashed away, survives. Spyrex waiting out this curtain call. Who does it connect onto? Rhino doing a great job of body blocking for his carries, even wanting to let Yon step up to clear out the minion waves. That last crit barely tickling Rhino. You even got the root coming in from him. Try to see what else they can gather off of this one. But flash away, well, the distortion out of Spyrex keeps him alive as Bradley is waiting in the wings, waiting in darkness for that barrel chain.
And FlyQuest know that that's going on. As a brief side note, whenever Philip runs around with his scissors out in front of him, it makes me think of an earwig.
Really, it always makes me think of that one game
Right there,
that came out
it's
a
an
long
earwig.
time ago. But right now, that is going to be needlework doing a lot of damage. But Yon is kiting
The
back.
barrels!
Yuji
The
might have been
barrels!
alive, but the barrels. It is Bradley's flank ripping apart FlyQuest and allowing Team Liquid members to now run down Phil. Spyrex is on the other side, but he has no health. Even if Bradley died in the fight, it's Team Liquid finding success in this game.
Bradley finding the big barrels to end the game. It was all about Yon earlier, but now Bradley with a big play, going to be setting up Team Liquid to try and end it. Spyrex and Philip, the only two left alive to try and stand up against the onslaught.
And with Team Liquid having a slump to start off this Super Week, picking up this victory against FlyQuest is huge. They might not have gotten the pull back in there, but we know they've got this game locked and loaded. It is all theirs. They just want to pad the KDAs on the way out with the root coming in onto one. Even if Rhino died on the other side, it is Yon still alive, and it is Team Liquid evening up this best of two, one apiece.
But the crazy thing to me is as we look at this game, not only was Team Liquid able to win it, but we saw the strengths of both rosters. Team Liquid has always been a team that is really good at playing later on into the game after the two items are completed. This is when Armeo has often come into his own. He's the one able to manufacture fights, but everybody on the team really willing to just step up and say, hey, we think we're stronger now. We're going to be forcing the issue and putting FlyQuest back on the back foot. So great play coming out from both teams this time around.
It really was. Like, the early game looked like FlyQuest. It looked like they were going to get a 2-0. But we talked about the scaling that Team Liquid had. They were able to hold on. They had that one really good fight at the 20-minute mark that allowed them to immediately turn on to Baron. And that's something we didn't really get a highlight at the very beginning. How fast they take neutral objectives if they have any free time.
Yeah. I mean, Team Liquid looked great, and they were able to grab a couple Barons, or just the one Baron, and that's really all they needed for the rest of the game. It really was a situation where it felt like Team Liquid were just out-rotating FlyQuest in the second half of the game, and once you start doing that, once you start putting the team that needs to be ahead behind, there's not a whole lot left to do, and again, I just want to praise Bradley for his barrels there at the very end. We've seen a couple times where he's been an opportunity to do just that and carry the game on the gangplank, and this is the first time where I've seen him really just step up and have a play that was undeniably all Bradley all the way.
I mean, even his last Gangplank performance was really good to see out of Bradley. He's looking like he's able to explore more champions, and with that win, we got a 1-1 between FlyQuest Academy and Team Liquid Academy. We're going to toss a break. When we come back, our beautiful host of Mazel will be here for an interview. Make sure you stay tuned.